look, the baby's growing fine, but there's serious complications with the mother. And pretty much there and then they gave a prognosis of 4 weeks. She passed holding my hand on a Friday.
But how did you manage?
You know, subhanAllah, first and foremost, I wouldn't wish this on my enemy. So I have a daughter from my late wife, and she was 3 at the time. Wow.
How did...
And even she was 3 at the time, and naturally a child is going to ask questions in baby language, where's mummy?
Subhanallah.
And I had to use baby language to say, mummy's gone to the sky. And my daughter's like, well, can we go to the sky and see her?
You're with your daughter. You've entered the Jannah. You've entered Jannatul Firdaus. And you see your wife.
SubhanAllah.
What's the first thing you're going to say to her? Inshallah.
Bro, you know,
Assalamu alaikum. Hello and welcome to another episode of AAA Talks. I'm your host Muaz. Alongside me is...
Safe.
And today we have a guest with us, Brother Abid. Jazakallah khair for joining.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Salam. Welcome.
It's a pleasure to have you here. And I want to go straight into it. In 2016, you suffered a very heavy loss, a tragic incident. Do you mind telling us, and can you tell the viewers as well, what happened?
Sure. Bismillah, salatu wassalam ala Rasulullah. First and foremost, Muaz and Saif, thank you for giving me this opportunity, this platform to share my story and, more importantly, speak about coping mechanisms and really put it out there in terms of losing a spouse, and particularly for Muslim men, and moving away from this taboo about burying your head in the sand. Right, so my story really, 5th of February 2016 was my late wife's death.
Yeah.
So we, rahimahullah, we had a very lovely life, a blissful marriage. We were expecting a second child. She was a professional, she was an academic. And we went for the normal ultrasound scan, the normal 3-month period. And it's at this point, and then we actually purchased a larger home to accommodate our second child. And it's during the ultrasound scan that it got picked up that, look, the baby's growing fine, but there's serious complications with the mother. And pretty much there and then they gave a prognosis of 4 weeks. I naturally, this was in denial. This was like a huge shock to me. I insisted that their ultrasound scans or whatever diagnostic equipments they were using, that it's wrong, and I demanded a second opinion. Various other clinicians came, they redone the scan, they did all their MRI, CT scans, etc. And it was confirmed it was stage 4 cancer, more specifically bowel cancer. I was shocked because my late wife, rahimahullah, she's an academic, she's a professional. She went to work to London, commuted from Luton to London the day before the diagnosis. Wow. So as you can appreciate, how do you even swallow that? How do you kind of digest that? I had to. So my late wife, I then took her to a London hospital. I insisted because I was still in denial that there's something wrong. How can someone, subhanAllah, a day before travel to work and then get told that you've got 4 weeks or 3-4 weeks to live? We went to a Royal Free Hospital in London, and they gave the same prognosis of 4 weeks. I eventually took her to a private hospital in Harley Street, a very well-known, without mentioning names, oncologist. And he saw me and he read the report, and his reaction was pretty much, I can see why you're here. Okay, because chemotherapy was denied from the NHS because it was too late. It was terminal. And I had to make the decision of chemotherapy. As I was going to see this oncologist, I received a call to say the child has passed, because my child was my late wife was pregnant at the same time. So I couldn't really grieve even for my unborn child, because I had to be focused for my late wife.
At what stage of the pregnancy?
She was 4 months.
4 months.
Approximately 4 months. And then in Harley Street, 2 days after my child had passed, my late wife passed.
No.
She passed holding my hand on a Friday, and there's various hadiths about passing on a Friday and the benefits of it. And her janazah, her funeral, was attended by the masses in Luton. She had a profound effect on people, particularly those she was around, those she loved. That's my story.
Yeah, subhanAllah.
Subhanallah.
I actually remember hearing about it. I remember my Bengali friends were telling me about it. I think it went pretty mainstream, right? It went viral. Many people knew about it.
It went viral because so many, even the mosque people, they were shocked at the sheer amount of people that attended for a female, because generally male janazas are far greater in number than females. And she had people from all over in terms of different ethnicities and backgrounds.
Yeah.
She was loved. She was loved. I mean, so much so where she used to work, and she used to work as a teacher, not for ordinary students, but for students who've come out of prison and they want to pursue and get their GCSEs. So she was a very specialist teacher. And her employer, they moved premises in North London, and they actually named the centre the Hasina Ali Learning Centre as a token of their appreciation of what she did and leaving a legacy for her in terms of education. So up until this day, if you go past North London, you will see Hasina Ali Learning Centre.
Wow. In which area?
This is in Colindale.
In Colindale. SubhanAllah. Wow.
So just to recap, you got the news of her having stage 4 cancer when you went to the checkup on the baby at 3 months. Then after that, how long did she live for? Just
approximately 4 weeks, 3.5 to 4
weeks.
So the clinicians, their prognosis was actually fairly accurate.
Wow. And how did you? I mean, this is a bizarre question, because obviously we know it's the feeling of loss is incredible, but how did you manage?
You know, subhanAllah, first and foremost, I wouldn't wish this on my enemy. Generally speaking, as guys generally, we don't realize, but I realize because I've lost a wife. Guys are very reliant on their spouse.
Some of them don't know that.
Some of them don't know that until the worst happens. Particularly if you've got a really supportive, loving wife, as I did. In answer to your question, the only thing I can say that really got me through this, and in fairness, I probably haven't gotten over it. It's something that, how do you get over something like this? It's something that you just learn to adapt and cope. And looking back, my child was my focus. When my late wife passed, my child was my focus. And
you mentioned you had a is it a daughter?
Yeah. So I have a daughter from my late wife, and she was 3 at the time. Wow.
How did
And even she was 3 at the time, and naturally a child is going to ask questions in baby language, where's mummy?
Subhanallah.
And I had to use baby language to say, mummy's gone to the sky. And my daughter's like, well, can we go to the sky and see her? And I had to say things like, well, no, you can't, Baba, because it's not our time yet. So when is she going to come back from the sky? And I'm like, well, Baba, she's not going to come back from the sky now. You know, that was by far, right, the most difficult conversation. And those 10 minutes was the most difficult things I've ever done in my life, by far. And all my daughter did was, bear in mind she was only 3, because I slept next to her that day, and she turned to the other side and didn't say a word. So my focus, I mean, I moved to my parents temporarily. We had a larger home to accommodate our second child. So my life basically got turned upside down.
Yeah.
And I had to rebuild my life 10 years on. In answer to your question, Muaz, single-handed, if it wasn't for the deen, the religion, I don't think I would have been able to cope as good as I did. And my child being there. So my focus was my child. I couldn't break down for my child's sake. I owe it to her not to break down. Yeah.
So just to that, you said what got you through it was the deen. A lot of people, well, some people at least, they blame God when they're in serious calamities. Why me and my things? Tell us about how your mind was at the time, on what aspects of the deen that caused you, I don't know, strength to get through it.
Yeah. I mean, first and foremost, even I've been, alhamdulillah, I love ilm, I love Islamic knowledge. And the time I needed the knowledge was when it did help me safe, massively. Because the signs of my late wife's death, in accordance to what we know in the hadith, there were very good signs of my wife's death. And one which I alluded to is passing away on a Friday.
Yeah.
In addition, the child, okay, that child would be a ticket for her for Jannah, inshallah, in layman's language. So there are various hadiths. I don't want this to be in kind of an Islamic talk, but there were various hadiths which showed that she's got a good death, inshallah. That for me gave a massive peace and tranquility to the heart, that, you know, inshallah, she's in a better place.
Yeah. Can I just add that there is a hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, the person who dies from an illness, a disease around the stomach is a shaheed.
That's right, equivalent to shaheed, yeah.
So the bowel obviously is associated and part of that region. So may Allah Azza wa Jalla give her the status of a shaheeda, inshallah. I
mean, and in addition, the woman whose husband is pleased with her at the time of death, dakhal al-jannah, for her. And boy, was I pleased with my late wife. So various hadiths gave peace to me. In addition, as I say, my child being present, so me being able to raise my child, that helped. And really, and I would also say, hats, you know, the person who I refer to for knowledge, he did help me as well, in the sense he was quite firm when I was emotionally down, in the sense, get up, you've got a child. But there's a flip side to this as well. And that flip side is particularly people who haven't been through grief and losing a spouse. They mean well, their intentions are well, but saying insensitive things like, don't worry, brother, I've got someone in mind for you. as in remarriage.
Yeah.
That
How
happened that
quite
soon.
That soon.
How
Yeah,
soon?
I'm talking approximately a couple of months.
People close to you.
Yeah, people close to me.
But people close to you would think that for your mental state, that might be a solution, right? They're looking after you to say that as a solution, perhaps, no?
Yeah, so as I say, they mean well,
Mm.
but I found that very insensitive.
100%, of course.
Very insensitive.
Of course.
Particularly towards my in-laws,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes remarrying may not be the solution.
No, without a doubt.
Yeah.
So for me, I found that quite insensitive. And although, look, sabr, patience means different to different people, right? And just saying the word, "Oh, have sabr, brother," that can be insensitive as well.
Yeah,
Because particularly if you're not going through it, it's quite. Look, I know that you don't need to say it to me.
I know, but it becomes a rhetoric to a lot of people. They don't know what to say,
Yeah.
and they sometimes just say.
I
sabr,
feel
sabr.
like that's because they just, unfortunately, they lack wisdom. They don't. The truth is that, just let the brother feel what he's feeling, let him go through that.
Yeah.
Because
But-
if we contain it so much, and I know you alluded earlier to how you had to contain it, you had to be a rock for your daughter, and your teacher was telling you to do that. But man, if you just contain it for so long, you'll explode eventually. So
Yeah, and I had really good friends. Sometimes, unfortunately, and Saif may agree with me here, sometimes, particularly the South Asian culture, well, you can't go to your own brother because there's that barrier there of, I can't speak to him because he's older than me, even though he's only 4 or 5 years older. But the barrier is created because there's this element of respect that you can't go to your older brother to pour out your heart because that wasn't embedded in the culture. So fortunately for me, I had good friends who I was able to speak to. But it's unfortunate because really you needed your real blood brothers for support here.
yeah.
Even though they love me, but that emotional support. And that's why one of the reasons why I'm here is we need to move away from this taboo of, yeah, he lost a wife. Sooner or later, come on, get on with it.
Yeah.
It's the same record. You're saying the same thing over and over again. We need to get away from that taboo. This is for real. Losing a spouse and the effect of it to the mental health, particularly for Muslim men, particularly alpha males. Alpha guys, probably like the three of us, alpha guys, we don't want to. You ask a brother, how you doing, brother? 99% of the time he's going to say, I'm okay, alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Mm.
That's a sign he's not okay. He's not okay. And
Well, do you think society just made us that way? There's this cultural norm to just, as men, to just put up with things, get on with things. Women, I think women, they grieve with each other really well. They communicate really well. They show compassion and mercy very well. They could sit down and all of them could just cry together really well. Whereas men, I think we've been brought up to just be hard and any sign of emotions is actually showing weakness and softness.
Yeah.
But obviously that's not the case, is it?
But how would you have preferred the situation to be? So you've now, obviously gone through this traumatic experience. May Allah have mercy on your wife. I mean, and inshallah, your situation is much better. But what the people around you, what advice would you have said that they should have reacted? Because it's an experience for them as well. Like, how are they supposed to react? How are they supposed to show that emotional care as well? What would you expect from your brother or your friend or even your neighbor? Certain things like that.
yeah, so as I say, I think it's the culture has made it that way. The culture has made it that an elder brother cannot give a hug to a younger brother because that's inauthentic. You're not supposed to do that. So who are we supposed to go to for mental support?
Yeah.
Right. But as I say, fortunately, I had my friends, and the other thing I found really beneficial, and so rewind, going back to Muaz's point about sisters. I was going to make this point. Sisters are very good at networking and being there for each other. Far greater than men. Far greater than men. And evidence of this is when I only about a year ago, when I was really down, I was Googling Muslim men's support groups, right? And I couldn't find anything until I came across this charity called MBBS, and I rang the charity, and the sister, who's the owner of the charity, she was, subhanAllah, brother, you are the guy that we've been looking for in the sense, the metaphor that guys don't ring up like this. Sisters do. We've got so many support network mechanism and coping mechanism and groups for sisters. They are proactive. They have support for each other. But men, they just bury their head in the sand. And as a result of that phone call, we then formed a first of its kind network group, a Zoom meeting for bereaved, when I say bereaved men, relatively young Muslim men who've lost a spouse, right? And it was kind of international because we had a couple of international guys that dialed into the Zoom call as well. And when you hear the stories of other people and their stories and how they tragically lost their wife. Okay, I know of a story of a brother, his wife is in labor, he went to do Maghrib prayer, he came back and the child and the wife had passed. That's 20 minutes. So when you hear these stories, personally, you're not alone. And it's nice. It's one thing speaking to someone who hasn't been through it, but speaking to someone who's been through it, they can totally relate to what you're going through.
Yeah.
And that group really did help. And we formed a group, we formed a WhatsApp group now, and there are bereaved brothers there. And when they're down, they reach out to us. Brothers, what do we do here? How do I cope here? So
that's amazing. I think going back to what you said about siblings, I think it's difficult to blame them because I feel it's the same with my brothers as well. You know, there's four of us. I think just culture, society just engineered us that way where, you know, probably they would lean on a friend's shoulder as opposed to their brother's shoulder.
yeah.
And likewise with me. I remember last year we stayed in a cabin somewhere with a campfire, and we were sitting around a campfire, and just one of the brothers was like, let's take it in turns to talk about failings, what you failed in, and what you wish you could have done better. And like, what are your ambitions? It got quite deep. It started off like, come on, bro, give me a break, man. You know, burn that marshmallow for me. Halal marshmallow. Were you there, Saif? I don't think you came.
So these are amongst friends, not amongst...
friends. Friends. And actually, like, a few minutes later, it got really deep. And we, like, unlocked a new layer to our friendship group where we actually opened up about a lot of things, a lot of weaknesses. We all mentioned weaknesses. We all had to mention a weakness. And I can't see myself doing that with my brothers.
That's my point.
Yeah,
imagine now doing that. That's so beautiful to hear. Amazing. Now imagine doing that with brothers. It's just not going to happen with your blood brothers.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. But the positive effects of that
would be huge.
Would be huge, massive.
Even bigger than with friends, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Sorry, sitting in a circle and talking about your emotions.
We were in a campfire, you know, just our guys.
Yeah.
I don't think you came in Epping Forest.
Probably I
Chingford.
did. We came for a couple of...
Yeah, it was when we slept over. Anyway, the point is that one of the guys was like, we were just like cracking jokes and stuff. And sometimes that's all you need, by the way. Sometimes you just need to link up with the guys and just crack jokes and just talk, you know, about random things. And actually, by the end of it, you're like, man, I had an amazing evening. You know, I haven't felt like that in like a month, for example. So we were doing all of that, and one of the brothers was like, guys, let's get a bit deep. And then he started asking questions, and at the beginning we were kind of like, just like joking about it, but by the end of it, we're all opening up, and it was nice. It was kind of like refreshing to talk about our weaknesses, what our ambitions are like.
Yeah.
And it was needed, and I think that's needed amongst a group of friends. I think you get that with friends more than with your own siblings.
Yeah. But why should it be like that?
Yeah, I agree.
You know, the siblings part, sorry, I went a bit quick because I was assessing my own life and my own relationships with my brothers and things like that. And me with my brothers have had a lot of tension, a lot to do with business and land, and it's gone to fights and things like that, rivalry, and then it's come back to normality and then gone back into it after some solutions. So it's been chaos. But the biggest calamity that happened with our family was my random death of my mother, right? And at that time, we all somehow, even amongst all the tension, got together. And I do remember hugging my older brother as well. And I'm from a very traditional family. And you were talking about alpha. It doesn't get more alpha than him, right? He's Mahiba, you probably know him.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, from that onwards, we were good. And at that moment, it brought the whole family together. We've never been that strong together at the time, right? We all went to Bangladesh, and we went for the funeral and buried her and so on. And subhanAllah, but I don't see myself needing to talk to him in a circle about my weaknesses or my emotions. Do you see? But what's the phrase? When the crap hits the fan, if you like, everyone comes together in that sense.
Yeah. I think coming together is in terms of practicality, we're very good at that. Coming together in terms of practice, but emotionally, right? Just emotionally picking up the phone. Hey, younger bro, is your mental state okay? Are you okay? That's just the norm that it just won't happen.
No. My brother calls me crazy because you're mental. He goes into it even more. He won't talk like that.
I think I've always been a hard advocate for men don't need therapy. I personally feel men don't need therapy. Okay, maybe some extreme cases, there are exceptions, of course. But I think generally, men just need good friends.
That is therapy, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Indirectly, that is therapy.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, and that is what you get with therapy.
We
don't need to sit there on an armchair and answer a whole bunch of questions like it's an interrogation.
Yes, right.
Open up about our childhood traumas.
Yeah.
No, just like I said, cracking jokes, talking about what's bothering you, how things are going at work, what kind of future plans do you have, stuff like that. Like, what makes you laugh? Just
And just picking on one individual and joking on that guy.
I'm pretty good at that.
Amongst you guys, they pick on you, right? So just that is like a load off, right? And that's one form of coping mechanism. Just going back to your question, I recently discovered, and subhanAllah, I discovered writing, Saif.
Writing. MashaAllah. Right, like a journal or writing?
Just writing what happened to me, my emotions, and putting it down on paper. I was literally middle of the night just typing away and writing my emotions in terms of my grief and what happened, and I couldn't stop.
Yeah.
Is that something that you want to be published, or is that just something to yourself, private?
No, so I wrote about my tragedy, and it's on a website, the MBBS website.
Oh yeah.
Just so other people can read and kind of share. Sharing sometimes help, not for pity, more for other brothers reading about it and relating to it. Bereaved men.
Yeah, I've noticed that about you. Like, and top respect for that as well. You're not really here. Like, you didn't reach out to us so for pity. Like, that's no, right. It's actually you want to encourage and empower brothers that have been through the same position as you to actually, don't bury your head in the sand. Don't just get on with it. Yeah. Like, open up, because at some point, someone who just gets on with it all the time, at one point they're not going to get on with it, are they? And it's going to be catastrophic.
Yeah, and also, I guess friends and family members need to acknowledge that when you've been through a traumatic experience like that, it is going to have a profound effect on you. you are going to be a bit ratty sometimes. You're going to be a bit, and they need to acknowledge that. You're going to be a bit ratty. You're going to be, you're going to have maybe anger issues. And that's where they would need to appreciate and acknowledge that that's coming from trauma.
Can I ask, how did you manage? I'm rewinding a bit now. How old is your daughter now?
So, alhamdulillah, my daughter now is 13.
She's 13.
Inshallah.
So, from 3 to 13, how did you manage doing the role of both father and mother? Because my wife went abroad with her family back to her home country, and I had the kids with me for a week. You see where I'm going with this? How did you manage it for 10 years?
No.
Until today?
Yeah, you know what, mashallah, when I went to university, I learned to cook.
Okay.
And that's a life skill.
100%.
Subhanallah.
Every woman and man needs to know how to
They
cook.
need to how to cook.
So
Right?
yeah, it is a life skill.
So
man as well.
We're pretty good chefs. Why are you trying it?
No, they said we don't need to learn to cook, bro. You know what I'm saying?
no, I got sick and tired of beans on toast, man. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to do a trial and error with my housemate, and we became good cooks, actually, alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
So, in answer to your question, was, you know, things like breakfast clubs, right? Those days were tough, man. Those days were tough because breakfast club entailed getting my daughter up at 6:30 in the morning, right? Leaving at 7:30 to get to breakfast club, dropping her off before 8, and then me traveling to work. And I've got a pressurized job. I work, and then we've got after school clubs for her. So after school clubs from after school until 6 p.m.
Did you move back in the family home? So was there support from your siblings or your parents?
Mashallah, I owe a lot to my younger sister.
Mashallah.
My younger sister, who wasn't married at the time, she helped me raise my child.
MashaAllah.
She gave that motherhood figure, that love. And my daughter got love from everyone. Okay, so she didn't feel that absence of not having a mother. She probably feels it now in the sense she's understanding now. You know what, I don't have a mum. It's always dad going for parents' evening. It's just always my dad around. She didn't probably understand it back then at 3. She's only 3. But she's understanding it now. But you know what? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take care of her. You know? I don't get myself down about that because I know with yaqeen, with certainty, that Allah will take care of my child. Okay?
Mashallah, beautiful.
That's pure tawakkul, isn't it?
I know.
One of the things you're doing your part and you've just left the rest to Allah.
One of the things that comes to mind is a statement of Ibn Taymiyyah. And, you know, we say this as rhetoric and we know that this life is a test. And Allah said that so many times in the Quran, and, you know, to see who is righteous and so on. But we don't really actually understand it in depth. We might go to even a funeral, but we carry on with our day-to-day life as it is. Sometimes at funerals, I've seen with friends as well, that the main topic is after the burial, where we're going to eat. You know, things like that. Yeah. But beyond that, calamities, right, are two
Quotes, which I rely on.
MashaAllah, let's hear this.
A trial that gets you closer to Allah, and a trial, a musibah that gets you closer to Allah, is better for you than a ni'mah, a blessing that takes you away from the remembrance of Allah.
Allahu Akbar.
That is profound. That's what happened to me. That this trial, as a result of this trial, first and foremost, I'm not going to wish this on anyone. But as you rightly say, it's the way you deal with it. As a result of this trial, alhamdulillah, I've been able to benefit the community in terms of Islamic knowledge. I've furthered my deep love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
MashaAllah.
Okay, I only rely on Allah. Tawakkal to Allah. I have full trust in my Lord. So the way I see it is this trial, inshallah, is good for me. Inshallah. And it's an expiation, it's a kafara for my sins.
Inshallah.
So there might be a lot of brothers or even sisters out there that are probably going to lose a spouse or something similar to that. What advice could you give to them, and how can they, manage the situation best?
In terms of to the brothers, because I'm a guy, try to use that grief to get closer with your siblings. Yeah, try to and say, look, try to go against the grain to say, guys, I need help, man. I need help. You know, I could go to my friends, but really, I need help from you guys. That's number one.
And one thing I've noticed about that, subhanAllah, every time there's a difficulty and you call a sibling or family member, it almost strengthens the bond between the two. Do you see? So if you're always trying to be independent, it drags away from that family bond.
Yeah, and I think when you're such an alpha male, I'm a firm believer of the upper hand is better than the lower hand. It's a saying.
Yeah, of course, without a doubt. Yeah.
Meaning, you don't ask for help unless someone offers it to you, because that person will remind you of that help that they did. So I'm very much of that stance that I will do things myself, but I'm more referring to emotional support. I'm more referring to emotional support. So that's number one, is utilizing or using that grief as a means of getting stronger in terms of your relationship with your siblings. Number two, subhanAllah, you really do need Islamic knowledge in terms of, because how else can you deal with a musibah, a trial like this? If you didn't have iman and faith, why do disbelievers go to the drinks and drugs and drown their sorrows?
Yeah, and maybe even suicide.
I can relate to it, man. I can relate to it. If it wasn't for the faith, I can relate to it.
I think a lot of their funeral parties are just that, just drinking.
Yeah. Drowning their sorrows.
Obviously, we know from the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said that after death there are three deeds that remain, which is one of them is the sadaqah jariyah, knowledge being passed,
Righteous child.
a righteous child making dua for you, and sadaqah jariyah. What ongoing charity did you do for her? What could you tell us?
While she was alive, my late wife, we wanted to put some wells in place in Bangladesh. This is while she was alive, and this was her idea, my late wife's idea at the time when she was alive. So we formed a Just Giving page, and that reached beyond £10,000.
So that's quite a few
So
wells.
a lot of, let's say, she touched everybody. A lot of donations, and we built quite a few wells in different parts of the country.
MashaAllah.
And every single year, I give sadaqah on her behalf. And just I went to Bangladesh, as I said, last year. First time for my child, for my daughter, and she was treated like a princess there. So so what I did is I fed the poor around my late wife's area where her parents reside, and just a sticker to say, this is from so and so's husband. Just make dua for her. And we distributed that a good 100 packs of food parcels, basically. So yeah, there's always ongoing charity. That.
And if there's anything that you want us to share here on the channel as well, I'm sure the viewers are keen to know as well. If there's any opportunity for them to get reward, for you to get reward, for your late wife to get reward, then let us know and we'll put it in the link. We'll put it as a link below, inshallah. Inshallah. And just to end it on a positive, inshallah, I want you to think of this scenario, inshallah. You're with your daughter. You've entered the Jannah. You've entered Jannatul Firdaus. And you see your wife.
SubhanAllah.
What's the first thing you're going to say to her, inshallah?
Bro, before she passed, when she said, take care of my child. Take care of my child. That's one of the last things she said is take care of my child. And inshallah, I'm bringing up my child how she would like for me to have been raised her. And I would say, you know what, babe, I fulfilled your promise, man, to the best of my ability. That amana you gave me, inshallah, I'm fulfilling it. And I fulfilled it.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
You know?
Inshallah. I mean,
You know what? There should be a stark reminder for those of you watching as well. Whatever your relationships are, don't take it for granted. And whatever situation you're in and calamities you're in, remember it could be as harsh as this, subhanAllah. Losing the love of your life and being in a situation that you would, you know, have to handle out of the blue. So,
yeah,
subhanAllah, don't take things for granted.
yeah. Most of the time we truly value things once they're gone.
Yes.
So it is a great reminder for us. Guys, Jazakallah khair. Thanks for tuning in. Jazakallah khair, Abid, for coming.
Barakallah fikum. Shukran.
Abid Bhai, thank you so much for
Yeah.
sharing
No
your
problem
story
at
with
all.
us. Yeah.
Jazakallah
Inshallah,
khair
it
for-
benefits our community.
Inshallah.
And inshallah, you know, people have stronger
Inshallah.
relationships as well.
See you guys next time, inshallah. Make sure you tune in. Assalamu alaikum.